Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today's video I'll be doing a comparison using the same amount of worms to see if worms that are fed on a daily basis or worms that have a bulk of food, which one will produce more. Because they say when worms have a lot of space, a lot of food, and all the right conditions, then they tend to reproduce faster. So I'm going to be putting a bulk of food in this container. I'm going to be putting a small amount of food in this one and feeding them incrementally to see which one produced the fastest. So in here I have 30 worms, and here I have 30 worms underneath. I have some dried leaves that I'll be using for the bedding, and then I have the food scraps that I'll be giving them. So I'm gonna start by putting dried leaves in both containers. Okay, so now I'm going to be installing the 30 worms, and these worms are pretty much the same size basically for both sets. That's one, and this is two. So in this bin I'm going to be putting a small amount of food scraps. So just a piece of ripe banana, and in this one I'm gonna put a lot. I'm gonna give them a piece of lettuce, and a piece of squash. Cover it over a bit. I'll give them a piece of bread because I know worms love bread. Okay. So I'm going to be covering this one with a lot more dry leaves to keep out the fruit flies and all. I'm just going to put a little bit more on bed number one. I'm going to dampen them down a bit. Okay, so bin number one and number two, I'm going to be checking back within a month. I'll be giving you an update a month from now to see if the number of worms have increased in terms of eggs and babies. And I'm going to be running this experiment for 3 months. Now, why is this experiment important? In countries that have cold winter, we know that worms tend to produce at a slower rate when the time is cold and produce a lot when the time is warm or hot. So we want to monitor the amount that we are producing so that we can have sufficient castings for our garden or to supply in case you are a seller. So when you know whether or not feeding incrementally or feeding them in bulk and just let them have a lot of space to run around, say for example this produce at a faster rate than this does over the same period of time, then it means that when you're creating your worm bin, you'd want to use the method where you fill the bin and allow them to feed on what's in there. They'll have a lot of space and they'll produce more, which means that in the warmer weather you would feed them with this method to produce as much as you can during the warmth, so that you can have it put aside for when you're planting the following year. And then in the winter you would use this method because the worm would be operating at a slower rate because of the cold. So you wouldn't want to put a bulk of food in their bin, because you know for a certainty that they won't be eating everything if you give them a bulk, and then it's going to be molding up and causing fruit flies and other problems in your bin, which is something you do not want. So that is the purpose of the experiment, so that we can find a way to increase our produce during the warmer months. Okay, so if you enjoy this video, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe with your friends, and don't forget to click the notification button. Thank you for watching. I hope you have yourself a wonderful day.